Today I'm going to talk about how to spool braided line. So the first thing you're going to need is a bowl of water, and the reason why is you're going to let this braided line soak in it. You're going to need it to soak. The primary reason is because you want the lines to be as tight as possible on the spool. So we're going to let it soak in here for a few minutes and just leave it alone. And the reason why is I actually had this one spooled up prior. I'm going to show it to you. And I did this one maybe about 3 surf sessions ago. If you can see it, see how close I can get this on. And the gap right here, if you can see that gap distance, right now there's a little bit over, what is it, 1/8, 1/16. That's where it was when I originally spooled it on. And when I had spooled it on, I did it dry, so I had a cloth over it. And I think I did it the proper way, everything you need to do, but it wasn't wet. So when it was dry, and after I finished spooling it up, I could kind of squeeze it. It was very spongy like. And after a few, so I think about 3 sessions on the surf, it got to be about this tight. And I just want to show you the color difference too. So this is after 3 surf sessions in salt water. This was my original color. You can see that it's really bright yellow, and right now where I'm at 3 sessions later, yeah, and still not bad. I'll be honest, this is 15-pound test and this line was really strong. I had a cherry berry that I threw into the surf. There was a huge pile of seaweed that was right next to it, and I was doing everything I could to reel it in. I tightened up the drag, whatever I could do, and it was just coasting along. There were surfers in my path, so I knew I had to pull it in as soon as possible, or the line was going to hurt them. So I kept on tugging it, and at that point it ripped, but you'll be amazed. I called it a loss. I had a cherry berry on it, and approximately about 100 yards further down, I saw a pile of seaweed that was on the shore, and I was like, you know what, I have to go and I have to go take a look at it. I walked all the way there, kicked that seaweed around, basically to just kind of flip it over because everything on the surface side I couldn't see anything, and sure enough my cherry berry was on it. I still saw maybe about like 3+ foot of line, so it didn't tear on my knot, and I was using an enhanced uni knot. I think it did way more than 15 pounds. I mean, if you looked at the size of that seaweed, it really did really well. So this is the brand that I used for my 15-pound. And the one I'm going to be using right now on this example is a 40-pound test, and this is S9, so what it means is 9 braided knots. The one I bought before was 8, and I think these are pretty good for what they are. Right now they're on sale on Amazon, and there's like some 15% off coupon. So this is gonna be for my surf, my beach bait and weight setup. This is, I think, the Daiwa. It's really inexpensive. It's like a $25 rod, and I just got this Penn Battle 2 that's on clearance right now for 80 bucks. This is an 8,000 size. This is a gigantic beast. I don't think I needed this size at all, but it was the only one that was in stock, so I took it. So what I noticed on Bass Pro or Cabela's site is that they'll come in and out in stock, and you just kind of have to just periodically check right now with this clearance deal. And it's $79.99. They have everything from 3,000 up to 8,000. The 3 to the 4,000 are $69.99, and the 5 to the 8 is $79. So $10 more. I'm trying to get a 6 if possible. I kind of like these. I have the Battle 3000 on my surf cast rod, and it's small, it's lightweight, and it's doing its job really good. I like it overall. So what we're doing right now is we're going to spool up this onto this 8,000 reel, and the easiest way, I mean, I think we could even leave it in this water afterwards while it's wet, after it's absorbed it. We're going to do an arbor knot onto the spool, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the line directly as it's facing up, so that the clockwise motion is going into the reel in a clockwise pattern, the same way that it's rolling in. And we're going to do it with this last guide right above the actual spool, the spool of braid here, and going and feeding it directly in. So I want to say it's pretty soaked well enough, but let's give it a few more minutes and we'll come back to this. So we're gonna do an arbor knot. And this spinning reel, it has a rubber ring right in the center. So if I don't need to back this with mono, I'm just gonna go straight braid all the way. And all I gotta do is land this knot right on that rubber grip. And what it's gonna do is give me all that grip that I do need right on the spinner reel directly. I want to make sure that it's perfectly centered all the way through. There we go. That's the best way to demonstrate this. I'm going to get behind the chair and I'm going to have, so we're going to close the bail. This up right onto the rod. I'm gonna try to grip this somewhere. All right, put it between my legs. Make sure that it's nice and tight all the way through. Okay, so it's slipped a little bit. Make sure that this is on the rubber part. There we go. So I don't want this to burn on my hand, so that's why I have cloth. And make sure that that guide is right above the spool itself. And check that it's feeding it all the way evenly. If not, you're going to need to adjust with the washers that it comes with for the spinning reel. So far this is what it looks like. Which is coating it nice and evenly. And I'm going to time lapse this fast forward now. .547 yards, empty. So on the Penn 8000 model, you definitely want 547 yards of 40-pound braid. So for braided line, 50 pound, you want 475. So that was accurate. What am I using? I'm using 40 pound. Definitely could have went heavier, but I think this is still pretty good, 40-pound braid. So a few other things I want to show you. This is what the color comes off on the stain on the braided line. It's gonna happen. It's not, I'm sure it happens to all of them. And here's the next part. The water itself, you see there's a tint of green. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a tint of green in there.